Right, so let's take a look at normals here, or UVs. I got beams, rivets, planks, and what's this guy? This is my bucket bottom. And like I said, that hole that I made for the floating geo doesn't need UVs. It's just going to bake onto the ring. Okay. Now I definitely do not want. I'm not going to be doing tiling on the ring. I do want to make sure that I have some room for tiling because I wanted to do like a brick pattern in the well. So I'm going to leave some room on the top, probably like 0.8 and 0.9 up here. I'm going to leave open. What else? I need. I'm gonna bake a handle. Not today, but eventually. And I need to leave some room for decals, for decal geometry for me to float on top of my stuff. So a lot of room there that I need to make sure I'm conserving. Which is why it's going to be important for me to make sure that I am doing this the right way. I definitely want this guy to squeeze in here. It's a good little spot for me to just kind of plug up with UVs. I'm not going to be using layout right now because that's going to send my UVs all away from each other and not let them overlap. And I do actually want them to overlap right now. Because what I'm going to do here, do I have an interior to this thing? Okay, no interior. Sorry, I need to, I don't think I need my outliner right now either. I'm just going to make sure that we can't really see into this ring very far, so I'm just going to pull that geo in just slightly on those inwards bevel, on those bevels in there, because I don't want to see into that. I would rather that just bake in with the normals kind of thing. I don't have any intersecting geometries. That's good. Or anything stabbing out, I should say. Let's get rid of that guy. Let's bring my UVs back up again. I'm gonna bake one of these guys. I'm pretty sure that like my UVs are gonna say that they're in the same spot. As you can see with these guys here. I think that here's what I'm gonna do is I'm only gonna bake one of these guys. Probably. I hope that my my rivets are in the same spot with all of these. If I grab, so I'm just gonna push it over to the side here. Like that. One of them's gonna bake and the other one's just gonna repeat the same information. Okay. I actually want the tall one. I want the tall one to bake and the bottom one to just repeat over. So I'm gonna move it over here. But just to keep this guy from mirroring, so I'm not getting the same details on the top and the bottom, I am going to actually rotate this guy. I think if I do like 180 or something like that, we shouldn't be too crazy. We still have things lined up, but simply the model has rotated and the seam is going to be on the other side. So there's the seam on this side and there's the seam on this side. We're not going to see those together. Should be pretty good. Good setup for that. All right, so I've done an offset for this in that manner. is if anybody's confused by offsetting, you know, you're allowed to have stuff. You're not allowed to have things stacking on top of each other, but you are allowed to offset that stacking outside the 0 to 1 space. Okay, so that's where you want that to make sure that you're doing the right thing there. Let me come back to my UVs here. My planks need to be bigger. That's not enough UV space for my planks. I need, you guys need texel density. Okay, so texel density is making sure your checkers are doing the right size here. Like my rivets are way too big, right? Now, what I'm gonna do here, I need to grab I'm gonna move my rivets out of the way for right now. We're gonna come back to that. I'm gonna pull my planks over here, like this. I think they're the right size now. I think that's plenty of UV space, right? If I'm gonna give this a 2048 even, or a 1024, still quite a bit of UV space. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna grab, let's take the checkers off. I'm gonna grab some of these guys and just random. Once again, you know, randomizing is gonna be the best thing for you. I'm gonna grab some of them like that. I need to make sure, actually, here, I'm gonna go into object mode here. Nope, that's not gonna work. Where's object mode? Object. Everything goes to face mode. Nope, we're not there. Oh boy. I should have done this while I was making it. It's okay. We'll go into UVs here. We'll just do it that way. I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna grab the planks on the interior here though. I have 2 of them selected, and this one and this one. No, that's too close to each other. Just make sure that these guys are grab one there. Now I'm selecting UVs of all of them. You want to make sure that they're apart from each other enough. And this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the UVs over here. What did I do? What is not selecting here? I'm just double clicking to grab the whole UV shell. And I'm really just trying to randomize this selection. What is that? What have you done? I think I may have something selected still. Or not selected. Maybe that was it? There we go. Okay, holy cow. We made it. So I'm moving them over here. Things are still stacked, okay, so don't freak out. We'll make use of this, right? Let me grab these guys here. Now that I've already selected, you know, I'm just gonna do 3 variations of wood plank probably. I don't know if I have enough room for a 4th one. But now that I have these guys selected, I'm just gonna select these guys and then deselect ones that I want to really make sure are selected. So let's take this guy out. I'm just holding control to deselect things. Let's lose this guy here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one of these? Let's get rid of this guy. Okay, that should do it. I'm gonna grab these and move them over here like that. Cool. All right, so now I have 3 variations of wood plank on my bucket. So I need one of them to stay in the 0 to 1 space for each of my variations, and the other ones to shift over. And that's what I'm going to do now. Is I'm going to just select 1 plank each, inverse the selection by holding shift, and I'm going to hit the arrow key. This should be set up for, it might not be set up for you guys in default here, but if you go to transform and make sure that move is set to 1.0, it will move your UVs 1 whole UV space. And the hotkey for that is just the arrow keys on your keyboard. So since my stuff is already set to 1.0, all I have to do is hit the arrows and I can move this guy 1 whole UV space, and wherever this model goes, it's going to be in the right spot to have the right UVs. But you can stack things outside the 0 to 1 space. You just have to remember that this is your baking area. Everything over here or out here is just going to receive a repeating part of the model, okay? Yeah. So definitely you're allowed to stack things out here. This is how I want you guys strategizing. If you want UV space and you want resolution, by God, go get it. Revolution. Right? So I'm going to inverse my selection over here again, because I only want one of them to stay. Okay, and the rest of them, I'm just going to hit the arrow key. Like this. And now I've got one of them right here. It's perfectly lined up over here. Whichever one's on top is like completely random, so I have no idea. Shouldn't really matter. Inverse my selection, offset it, and there we go. These are my good baking UVs, and these ones are just sheep. They're just followers. Okay, and that is the planks UV'd together here. Rivet time. I'm gonna do the same thing with the rivets, okay? I need first off, they need to be the right resolution because they are way too big in the resolution now. So let me put my checkers on here. Let's size these guys down so we're getting some texel density, right? If I put a dirt on this entire model, or a grunge or whatever, and UVs vary so much, then I'm going to get like really good UVs on one of them and really good dirt, and the rest of them are just going to be like, whatever. I mean, I have room here with my bolts, my rivets. I don't know, maybe I can even squeeze them in here. Oh boy. Tight squeeze, right? Tight squeeze. But you know what? I think that's good. I can squeeze, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 different variations. You're going to want more variations on something like this because there's more of them, right? You don't want to see that stuff. So 6 variations is good. I like that. And for small shapes like this, guys, just use the resolution. You're going to have free space in your UVs, most likely, right? Use up that space. Okay. So now that I have that, once again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a couple of these guys. Just randomly select. It's okay. Let me select some random ones real quick here, and I will come back to you with that question. It seems like a long read. I want to make sure I get my book light and my reading glasses out. I'm using the Sculpt Tool and Rocky Ground Height map to give my rocks a little bit more of a rocky feel. I don't recommend that. No, Abby, you're working with your rocks should be game res. All right. I don't know what rocks you're working with because I know you said you're completely replacing the rocks on the bottom of your well. I think that actually like laid out rocks are good. Where not organic rocks like cut out tiling rocks are good. I'm just gonna move these guys to the side here like this. But yeah, don't sculpt anything. That's not good. Actually, I'm gonna go back and take my rivet and rotate it a little bit because I don't want it to be pointy top and bottom there. Let me these guys and then not grab these guys. I'm just gonna rotate these UVs to support some better squeezing here, where these guys are parallel. Support the squeeze. I mean, the emphasis that you want to work with on rocks is simply, though, you simply want to ensure that the rocks are like mostly textural. You have to understand we're doing hard surface modeling this month, so any organic information needs to be textural and done in Substance Painter, and that's really it, okay? I have some cool techniques that I can show you with Substance Painter to get some nice organic looking details, but the game res is for silhouette purposes. Especially, your rocks are on the floor, right? Who's going to see the silhouette change on a floor? Your camera is not down on the floor. You're looking at these rocks from like top down, right? You got the bird's eye view on these things. So do they really need a lot of silhouette? Not really. Unless this is like, unless you're Sackboy and you're jumping around on these things and the rocks are like up, then you're not going to see a silhouette change on these things. So that really is the difference, okay? I have I don't think I have a tutorial up on this guy. I showed you guys the dungeon scene, right? Like the dungeon that I worked on and for Unreal. Oh my goodness. Why? The dungeon I worked on for Unreal though was a lot of great. Come on. It was a lot of geometric shapes though, and let me just reset this thing. Good. Thank you. That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, if you think about the geometric shapes, if you want to move some vertices around, that's fine. Just like I'm doing with my wood planks here, put a little bit of chaos on there, but there really is no reason for you guys to do any sculpting this month at all. It's not really necessary. Because the stuff that we're dealing with is so primitive and simple. It's not really worth it. I'm gonna deselect some guys here. Make sure. Excuse me. I want to make sure that I'm like really not seeing one right next to another kind of thing. Wow. Those are some mad hiccups I'm rocking right now. I think I drank my juice too fast. I don't know. I don't know. What happened here? I didn't deselect that. Okay. Just gonna make sure I'm doing top down deselecting because there we go. Grabbing a couple of these guys and wow. Okay. Keep my selections top down. Por favor. Ugh. Nothing right next to each other. Offset these guys, right? There we go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna take some time for you guys to get this mindset though, and work on it. Okay, it's okay. You're allowed to have these questions. You haven't done this stuff yet. It's all strategy. It is all strategy there. Just grab everything here, deselect, deselect. Once again, these are just the ways that we are isolating our stuff out so that we're not seeing things going over and over again. Let's just, some of these may be like really sparsely varied. That's cool. That's enough. Something like that. And I may need to go back to my other selections there and just grab like one or two. I think we'll just stick it to 5. We'll stick to 5. Let's see if we have any more that are just like, there's too much, right? Like this one. We're gonna do like some recruiting here. And, you know, come over to these other guys and just be like, you know, hey, are you being useful? Are you being useful? Which ones? Because now my first one, I've only got, what, 2? 2 of the original ones there, and they're like, right, they're close to each other. Let's grab some of these guys. I think this one's a good one to grab where, I don't know, we'll deselect. Just make sure I'm not grabbing all this crap here. Pretty good selection. You know what, let's do something like that. Okay, and that's better. Grab some of those guys and pull them on over. That should do it. If we look at the sparsity of our rivets now, they're spread out. Nothing that we're gonna see right next to each other. It's not gonna be obvious. This one's a little obvious, maybe. Let's squeeze that 6th one in there. Why not? Let's nail you out. And what did I take out? Let's do this one. Okay, I'm gonna do this one here. Make sure I'm not selecting something else, and this one here. And deselect everything here. So just a little variety goes a long ways. Holy cow. Clingy. Absolutely clingy. So, you know, no one's gonna use this tight little space right here. Why not? Why not? Okay, and just like before, I'm gonna grab one, select everything else, deselect this stuff, and I'm just going to slide it on over here with the arrow key. And now I only have, if we're looking at UV checkers, I only have one. We can see here that there's a couple of these guys on top of each other. So once again, I'm just gonna do my inverse selection by holding Shift. Let me know if any of this is confusing to anybody, okay? If I'm selecting things and you're just like, how are you selecting everything else? Let me know. Select one, hold Shift, select the inverse of what I selected, and then select the selection of the selection of the selection of the selection. Yeah, we're gonna get some baking in today. I'm pretty sure we can do this. We can do it. Go team, go. Because all I have to do after this is the bucket bottom, which doesn't even need any mirroring or offsetting, I should say. I'm just gonna call it offsetting. I don't want you guys getting in the terminology of mirroring because that is a little bit different, just slightly. There we go. All right, so these guys are all the duplicates, all of my clones, and these are all of my original game reses. Okay, and take a look at checkers here, see how dense we are. It's a little dense. It's a big shape. Okay, so I don't know. I don't want to squeeze him over there. I feel like that's wasteful. I want to just maybe push him like right here, maybe. Something like that. But this whole bucket, that's what's going on there. I don't really know. I just now realized that's like I have no handle for this bucket. How does this thing even connect? There's like a little spot right there. I'll worry about that in a little bit. I may do another trim for just the metal of that. Or if I really want to be smart, I can but what I'll probably do is unitize, you know, take that loop and unitize it and then slide it in here where I'm not getting any AO shadows probably. I just realized how like far away I am from the bottom. I might scoot some things down here. That's a lot of space on the bottom. That's just like, you know, you could slide that down. I'm just gonna grab everything and scooch it on down a little bit. Just a little, not all the way to the edge. You know, and I think also too, I'm gonna do a little something like this, where I just scoot it to the edge right there. Just leave a little sliver, itty bitty sliver. Work every UV that you can, every inch. Okay, let's bake this guy. You guys excited? I'm excited. Everything's named. Let me grab my game res, check my outliner real quick. Everything that I have selected is named, and it's next to a high res that seems like it's named the same thing. Yep. Okay. Let me save this scene before we head out here too. And I need to grab my decals that I made earlier and put that into this version. I think I was modeling on an old version of my well, and that's not going to be good. Okay, so let's export this guy out now. Export selection. Bucket. This is probably still going to be a test bake, but at least my UVs are all in the right place. Because I'm probably going to have to rebake this again because I don't have everything in there. I want smoothing groups to be turned on. Smoothing groups is my my softening, my softened edges and my hard edges. I actually have no hard edges on this model at all. There's no 90-degree angles there, so pretty good. But I do want those smoothing groups to come out. Tangents and binormals, we want Substance Painter to make that for us. I feel pretty confident in my geometry, so I don't feel like I have to triangulate it right now. So all I really need right now is smoothing groups. Yep. All right, bucket low. And I'm just gonna hide my low, and now I could just grab my bucket high once again. Checking everything, making sure I have no groups. Everything's named the right way. Good. And that way I don't have any transforms that I have to reset here too. Bucket underscore high. Okay. Let's see what we get. I need to close this out now. Don't need to save, I just saved.